Yesterday, a couple of things have happened within the world of anime and video games and music. From new music being released for the end of the week to the Game Awards, which, for anyone who has watched it, spoiler, Expedition 33, of course, swept the Game Awards this year. And a third thing that happened within the anime industry is Gainax Studios officially shutting down yesterday as of me recording this video. Yeah, pretty big news. And this is a pretty big deal because if you don't know about Gainax Studios and what they're known for, right here, right now, they have a ton of animes that you pretty much should have heard of at one point or another, from the original Gurren Lagann to the original Evangelion anime to the original Foolie Cooley. This studio was well known, a class act, and a huge, huge juggernaut under its belt. And of course, how can I forget Pantheon Stalking with Garbell, the first season of Pantheon Stalking with Garbell, to be exact. So the fact that this studio has officially shut down on December 11th, 2025, after declaring bankruptcy last year, 2024, is shocking. It is a pretty crazy shockwave that's being felt throughout not only the anime industry, but for anime fanatics who have grew up watching these shows in particular. And I wish to just kind of go through what has happened that has led to this demise, more or less. So, basically throughout this time period of Gainax Studios, they were basically on an all-time high when it came to like their animes, what they were known for, etc. But around the 21st century, that was where a lot of what Gainax was trying to do and what it was heading towards. There were unfortunately there was some pretty poor financial decisions and some backstabbing in the process by a really great and well-known author, Hideaki Anno, who is, would you believe it, not only the creator of Neon Genesis Evangelion, but is also the founder of Kahara Studios. And this is where a lot of the building blocks to Gainax's downfall came to be. And what is pretty crazy is that for Gainax Studios being out this long, you would think that, hey, they've been dropping an anime up until last year, correct? No, that is not the case with Gainax Studios. Their last official anime was actually back in 2015 of spring under this anime called Wish Upon the Pleiades, which I'm pretty sure for any hardcore anime fanatics out there, many of you may have heard of the show or have once even like bothered checking this show out. I've not heard a single peep about the show when looking into the details of said show. But this was the last official anime release before they officially started going through the downward spiral that I'll go into. Because the following year in 2016, it was reported that Gainax was then being sued by Studio Kahara, aka Hideki Hanano, for 100 million yen in unpaid royalties from the agreement that Kahara would earn royalties from income received on works and projects that founder Hideki Hanano had worked on, hence from Evangelion and other previous works. The suit alleged that Gainax delayed on paying royalties and incurred a large debt for Kahara, which had loaned 100 million yen in August 2014, but had yet to receive payment on the loan in 2017. The suit was ruled by the judge at the Tokyo District Court, which ordered Gainax to pay the full amount in debt to Kahara. And further, it was reported that Gainax was not expecting to appeal the ruling. Gainax President Hiroyuki Yamaga posted a public apology on the Gainax website, saying that the company was now undergoing reconstruction. And in December 2019, Anno claimed no one from Gainax had yet contacted him personally with any kind of apology or explanation. And again, this was the first of many building blocks, like I mentioned, where Gainax Studios was going to go through this downhill spiral. And it's, again, I think for many Evangelion fans, and again, as someone as you should know that has a lot of Evangelion stuff, this also explains why like the rebuild movies from the Evangelion franchise has gone through probably numerous delays over the years, especially the final movie that came out back in 2021, where I think this was around the time when Hideki Adano, aka Karo Studios, is going through this back and forth lawsuit between him and Gainax Studios. And then things go from bad to worse for Gainax Studios. So, pretty much in August 2018, it was announced that Fukushima Gainax has been acquired by Kineshiya Group Holdings on July 26th, making it Kineshiya's new subsidiary. So basically, some restructuring went on, and you would think it would stop there, whereas like, okay, they're going to go on an upward comeback. But then it turns out that nope, it's not the case because now in December 2019, Representative Director Tomohiro Maki was arrested on allegations of quasi-forcible indecency on an inspiring voice actress, or AKA rape, potential possible rape. Maki has been appointed representative director in October, but had been a board director of the company since 2015, and previously served as head of Gainax Internationals, a separate company that trained voice actors and other talents at the time of the alleged incidents. And this was a serious allegation that completely and utterly took a huge dent, a huge blow in Gainax's reputation. And this was really big throughout all of Japan's anime studio industries. And then, like, from this point forward, it was like, I guess you could call this the point of no return, because Maki's arrest basically caused Gainax to cease production while still being sound with debt. So Gainax's largest creditors, Hideki and Dallas Kaharo Studios, arranged to restructure the company board and all its finances. In February 2020, Groundwork Representative Director Yasuhiro Kamamura was appointed the company's representative director, and a new board of directors was hired onto the company with Yuko Takahashi and various other people. And basically, this was again another second attempt of restructuring Gainax Studios so they can go back to not only repaying the studios and their creators the loyalties that they deserve, but simultaneously like trying to get like the works, like make sure the works are not lost by like Gainax Studios and they're brought back to each other respectfully. But uh, there is at least good news to this whole point where Tomohiro Maki has been sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for committing indecent acts, which again, pretty crazy sentence. Should have been charged a lot longer, honestly, with him potentially attempting to do these horrible acts. But this would be like the last major update to come out in 2020, because as everyone would know at this point, COVID happened and a lot of things were slowing down, a lot of things were not progressing the way it is, and it finally led to again that eventual bankruptcy declaration that got declared last year of 2024. And I gotta say, when looking at like the history and like looking how Gainax's downfall came to be, it really is sad. It really is a shame, because this was a studio that prior to made some really good, really iconic and memorable animes that everyone should know from top to bottom at this point. But with that being said, at least there was a happy ending to this, where Hideki Anno, who is the founder of Kaharo Studios, even came out with a final statement within his last statement, saying that one of the statements I want to highlight is, with the corporation of everyone, we have been able to return them safely to each right holder and create with due processing of the rights of each work, the transfer of rights, and the transfer of various materials such as production results. Thank you again. Thank you very much. And this is basically meaning that everything that was like produced within the old works of the classic animes from back in the day and such were returned back to the rightful owners, rightful studios, etc. And it's good that at least with this final push here, Hideki Adam was able to actually make do with the promise of not only gain the share and the rights back to his property, to what he has known to do, but simultaneously was able to give back to the people that were also involved in this, from again the same people that from the creators of Gurren Lagann, Fulikuli, etc. And it's nice that at least there was like a little bit of like a happy ending, so to speak, with the what would happen with the works of these animes that were part of Gainax Studios and what was to come. But again, it is still like, man, researching about this, learning about this today and throughout yesterday too, is pretty shocking, considering that again, I own a lot of Evangelion stuff. Not a lot, but like, I own some decent amount of Evangelion stuff, and just hearing that a studio of this caliber just went downhill once again, it's just, I guess you could say, take it with a grain of salt. That Gainax Studios' downfall should be a lesson that every studio should take take word by and just learn from, and just make sure they don't repeat these drastic and terrible mistakes that has been happening. And at the end of the day, I feel like their downfall was just a lack of mismanagement coming about, and just in general, just not really giving the proper creators the royalties and the pay that they truly deserve. At least in my view when looking at this. So yeah, just want to simply talk about this because yeah, this was a pretty shocking news that I found out yesterday, and I simply want to talk about it. And that's it. I'll see you on the next one later.